guys, it's been quite a while since I've done a turbo cider, but I've been inspired to do another one based on a cider I had at a recent beer festival called Dark and Stormy. It's a spiced apple cider with some extra ingredients thrown in, which I'll run through shortly. So as in the past, I'm going to be just putting the cider into some PET bottles to ferment and serve from. And these have the self-venting caps. Unfortunately, you can't buy these anymore. These were the Pat Max caps, but the website seems to have shut down. So if you don't have self-venting caps, you'll need to just use a standard fermenter basically, and then bottle off once fermentation is finished. So yeah, it's a 3 litre batch, so the base is this 100% apple juice, 3 litres, no preservatives, which is very important. And to that I'm going to be adding 50 grams of freshly ground ginger. The molasses, I'm taking a bit of a punt at, but I'm going to be adding 100 grams of that into the 3 litres. I've got 1 cinnamon stick, I think that's going to be plenty for that amount. And also I'll probably add maybe 1 to 2 teaspoons, might do 1 first and then we'll just taste it. And then for the yeast I'm going to be using the Safcider from Fermented. Got half a packet left over, so I'll use that. So basically what I'm going to do is I've taken a glass of the apple juice out, so I've got space to add everything else in. Give this a good shake and then just let it sit for probably 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll do like a sample taste before I transfer it into the bottles. Okay, so I've put all the ingredients in there. See the molasses has gone to the bottom. So what I'll do now is we'll put the cap back on. That molasses, wasn't overly familiar with the flavour of it, but it's got a very strong, almost like licorice type flavour. So get that all mixed up. Give that a good shake. You can see the colour's changed a lot just from that molasses. Give it a good shake, get everything off the bottom, and then we'll let that sit for like say 15-20 minutes, and then I will be back for the next step. Okay, I'm back. So now we're ready to transfer the ingredients into the bottles. So as I mentioned before, the bottles have been sterilised. Funnel's been sterilised. I'm using a grain bag to filter out any solids. That's been sterilised as well. So let's give it one final mix and then we'll fill these bottles up. Okay, it turns out I don't need a bigger funnel. The funnel's just creating a seal when it's sitting in the top of the bottle, so just lifting up slightly and all the liquid drains through, so all good. So I'll carry on with that and then we'll come back. Okay, so I've filled up the 3 bottles evenly, just leaving some heat space there for fermentation. So what we'll do now is we will split the rest of this packet of the Safcider between the bottles. Got a little teaspoon here, so we'll there's about 3 grams left, so I think we're just going to use it all up. So we'll add that, come back shortly. Okay, so the yeast has been added. I've screwed the caps on, given it a really good shake. So the only thing to do now is wait. So I'm going to ferment these at about between 18 and 20 degrees, probably for 2 weeks, and then we'll come back and do a taste test. Okay, so here is the moment of truth. So I didn't actually have a recipe as such, just basically tried the commercial version of the Dark and Stormy and had a few tidbits of information about it being a spiced apple cider, having molasses and also the ginger in it. So how this is going to turn out, we've got no idea until I pour it up, so let's do that first. The bottle's nice and tight. It's been sitting in the fridge for a good 24 hours just to cool down. Nice little hiss there, so we'll pour it up into 2 glasses. full one in here, and then we'll put the rest in the other one. Try not to get the dregs off the bottom. There we go. So there it is there. Here's the colour. So if you'd seen the photo of the original can, the Dark and Stormy, and it had a photo of what the original cider looked like next to it. It was quite a bit lighter, so my one ended up quite a bit darker, but nonetheless a nice attractive sort of burnt orange colour. Almost looks like a pale ale or something, or some sort of beer. Ooh. I was going to say let's go in for the aroma, but there's tons of aroma coming off. Getting definitely got like a spiced apple aroma coming off. So the spices are just the cinnamon stick and the nutmeg. Yeah, so nice sort of spiced apple note coming through. Possibly hints of the ginger as well, so it smells really nice. So let's not delay it any longer. I've been very curious as to how this is going to taste, so it could be a complete disaster. We'll go in anyway. Cheers, guys. Another mouthful before I give you some thought. First thoughts, as far as is it drinkable? Does it taste good? Yep, I'm happy with the taste. Definitely getting that molasses coming through, which gives it a little bit of like. Does the original had like a sort of a rum sort of flavour? So it's like a rum and spiced apple flavour to the original commercial version, and the molasses is definitely giving it a sort of a rummy licorice. The molasses, when I tasted it out of the jar, had a sort of a licoricey taste. So you're getting that sort of almost like a rummy licoricey taste, together with that nice spiced apple. It's still a wee way off, quite a wee way off from how the original tasted, but it's not a million miles away. This one tastes a little bit drier, not quite as sweet. So I haven't back sweetened this. I basically, after 13 days in the bottle fermenting, I put all the bottles in the fridge just to sort of halt the fermentation rather than back sweetening them, because I didn't want to take the caps off, etc. But there is still a little bit of sweetness there. Still quite green as in young, so I imagine give it another week or two, it'll taste even better. But yeah, no, very, very happy with that. Has got quite a tart back end, which is quite nice. Still a tad of sweetness there, but that cinnamon nutmeg does give it a nice spicy finish. There is another cider that's made in New Zealand. It's called apple crumble cider, which is really nice, and it does remind me of that as well. In the video I said that I was just going to put in 1 teaspoon of the nutmeg, and I'm wondering maybe if I should have gone for 2, and the cinnamon twirl maybe can do with another one. But once again, the flavours are still young, so it's be interesting to see how it tastes in another, like I say, another week or so. But yeah, not bad for a turbo cider. Very happy. It's definitely a nice mix-up or change-up from like a standard apple cider. There's no sulphur or anything coming through, which sometimes you can get.
I think maybe using that Safcider yeast probably helped in that regard. So no, I'm very happy. It smells good on the nose. I didn't really have any expectations. I was a bit worried that I'd open it up on camera and it would be a complete disaster and virtually undrinkable, but happy to report that's not the case. I don't think I want to put any more molasses in there. I think it could be a little bit too overpowering. So yeah, awesome. Thank you guys. If you got any questions, just sing out, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.